Alright, today we're looking at lesson 11-4 triangles on page 274, trying to figure out how we can classify triangles. Alright, so let's look at this. It says the angle measures within a triangle are related. The sum of the measures of the three angles of the triangle is 180 degrees. When the three angles of a triangle are joined together as three adjacent angles, meaning they are side by side, sharing a side, they make a straight angle. So the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B and the measure of angle C equal 180 degrees. So basically what they're saying is, if you look at this picture here, if I took A and put it down like this, and put angle C beside it here and angle B over here beside that, I've made a straight angle, because look, here's my straight line, and I have a 180 degree angle, which is why if you add up any triangle, angle A plus angle B plus angle C, you're going to get 180 degrees. Alright, look on page 275 and you can see triangles can be classified two different ways. First, they can be classified by their angles, okay, the type of angles they have. So an acute triangle, notice that word cute, okay, has that has all angles that are acute. So all angles are going to be less than 90 degrees. Okay. A right triangle, of course, has to have one angle that is 90 degrees, or a right angle. And then obtuse angles is going to have one angle that's obtuse or greater than 90 degrees. This angle right here, you can see, is larger than a 90 degree angle there. Okay, so that's one way to classify it, by angles. You'll be classifying these triangles by angles and their sides. So you need to know both. Alright, and here it shows how angles or triangles can be classified by their sides. So we have equilateral triangles, which are shown with their hash marks here to show that all these sides are the same length, or all sides are congruent. Okay, that's an equilateral. All sides are equal. We have an isosceles triangle, which has at least two sides congruent, and they show here we have two sides that are congruent, and this means these angles are actually also going to be congruent. If you think of isosceles, maybe think of your eyes. You have two eyes, and these have two sides that are congruent. And then scalene triangles, no sides congruent, so not one side is going to be the same length. Alright, looking back on page 274, they show you how to draw a triangle from given information, and we will practice this in class. We have already drawn angles, which should help you draw the triangle. So here it shows, it says draw a triangle with a 4 centimeter side, so use your centimeter side of the ruler, between two angles that measure 35 degrees and 55 degrees, and then classify the triangle by its angles and sides. Okay, so the first step would be to draw your 4 centimeter line segment, which they show here, and put the little points at the end. Then you're going to use your protractor like you've been taught to do, placing the center over that little dot, to draw your 35 degree angle at one end, okay, here, and just extend that line. See how it's extended here? We don't have to have it exact. And then use the protractor to draw that 55 degree angle, extend the line, and you'll see where they meet. And then you can find this missing angle here. Well, to find the missing angle, you know that together these three angles add up to 180 degrees. So the first step is to go ahead and add the two angles that you know together, and then subtract that from that 180 degrees to see what would be left. And in this case, you'd have a 90 degree angle. This would actually be a right angle here. Alright, and the last step would be to classify the triangle by its angles and sides. So use a protractor and a ruler to check the measurements. The triangle has one right angle, two acute angles, so it's definitely a right triangle. Alright, and then if you measure the three sides, you can see they're different lengths, so it's also a scalene triangle. So it's a right scalene triangle. Alright, look on page 275 at the guided practice, and I want you to do this for homework. So for number 1 and number 2, you're finding the missing angle. So you have three things to do. You're finding x, the measurement of that missing angle. Then you're going to classify the triangle by angles and sides. So 3 answers for each of these problems. And then go ahead and answer questions 3, 4, and 5 and bring them to class tomorrow with a question if you have one. See you then.